Alright, welcome to today's class. In today's class, we'll be dealing on indices and the laws of indices. So what is indices? Indices is the plural form of the word index. Indices is the plural form of the word index. So what is an index? An index is simply the power or degree to which a number or base is being raised. An index is simply the power or degree to which a number or base is being raised. So if we have a raised to power 5, a is the base, and then 5 is the index or power. You can also call it degree. A raised to power 5 means a multiply itself up to 5 times. So we have a times a times a times a times a. Now let's consider the laws of indices. The first law of indices is the multiplication law. Now, if we are to multiply expressions of the same base such that it has same or different index, simply add up the index together. If we are to multiply expressions of the same base such that it has same or different index, simply add up the index together. So let's take an example. If we have a raised to power 5 multiplied by a raised to power 3, the law states that if we are to multiply expressions of the same base, we have the same base here, which is a and a, such that it has same or different index. The indices here is 5 and 3. Now, our next task, according to the multiplication law, is to write the base and then add up the index or the indices. So we have 5 plus 3. So our answer becomes a raised to power 5 plus 3 is 8. So we have here 8. So this is our answer. So if we have 2 raised to power 3 multiplied by 2 raised to power 3, our answer is 2 raised to power 3 plus 3. So we have 3 plus 3. So which gives us 2 raised to power 6. So this is our answer. Alright, so let's look at the power law. When the index of a number or base is raised to another power or index, simply multiply the two indices. Let's take an example. If we have a raised to power x or raised to power y, and we are asked to solve this, how do we go about it? So the power law states that when the index of a number or base is raised to another power or index, simply multiply the indices. So our answer is a raised to power x multiplied by y, which is xy. Let's take another example. So if we have a raised to power 2 or raised to power 3, our answer becomes a raised to power 2 multiplied by 3. So which gives us a raised to power 6. So this is our answer. All right, let's consider the next, which is the division law. If you have an expression of the same base dividing themselves, simply subtract their powers. So if we have a raised to power 6 all over a raised to power 2, our answer becomes a. So we'll subtract the powers. So we have 6 minus 2. So our answer becomes a raised to power 6 minus 2 is 4. So this is our answer. Let's take another example. If we are given 4 raised to power 9 all over 4 raised to power 3, our answer becomes 4 raised to power 9 minus 3, which gives us 4 raised to power 6. Now note this, for you to apply all these laws, the base has to be the same. Now let's consider the next law, which is the zero index law. The zero index law. The zero index law states that apart from 0, any number raised to power 0 is 1. So let's say a raised to power 0. A raised to power 0 is 1. 5 raised to power 0 is 1. But 0 raised to power 0 is not 1. And then minus 5 raised to power 0 is minus 1. All right, let's consider the next law, which is the negative power law. A base raised to a negative power or index is simply equal to the reciprocal or inverse of the base raised to the positive form of the index. So if we are given a raised to power minus x, a raised to power minus x is equal to the reciprocal of a raised to power the positive form of x. So the reciprocal of a is 1 all over a. And then raised to power, x is minus here, so x becomes plus. So let's take another example. So if we have 3 raised to power 2 minus 2, 3 raised to power minus 2 is equal to 1 all over 3 raised to power 2. Which gives us 1 all over 3 raised to power 2 is 9. So this is our answer. All right, so let's consider the next law, which is the product power law. Product power law. Let's take an example. So if we have a multiplied by b multiplied by c all raised to power x, how do we solve this? Now, each of the term inside the brackets will take the power. So we have a raised to power x multiplied by b raised to power x and then multiply by c raised to power x. Now let's take another example. So if we have 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 4 all raised to power 2, our answer becomes 3 raised to power 2 multiplied by 2 raised to power 2 multiplied by 4 raised to power 2. 3 raised to power 2 is 9, and then multiplied by 2 raised to power 2 is 4, multiplied by 4 raised to power 2 is 16. So our answer is 9 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 16 gives us 576. So this is our answer. All right, let's consider the next law, which is the fractional power law. The fractional power law. Let's take an example. So if we are given a raised to power x all over y, how do we solve this? A raised to power x all over y is the same thing as a raised to power 1 all over y all raised to power x. Now note this, a raised to power 1 all over y is the same thing as y root a. So therefore, a raised to power x all over y is equal to, now let's substitute y root a into this. So it becomes y root a all raised to power x. Remember that we substituted y root a for a raised to power 1 all over y. All right, let's take another example. If we have 16 raised to power 3 all over 2, it is equal to 16 raised to power 1 all over 2 all raised to power 3, which is equal to 16 raised to power 1 all over 2 is square root of 16, and then all raised to power 3, which is equal to square root of 16 is 4. So we have 4 raised to power 3. You know what? Find 4 raised to power 3 and leave your answer in the comment section. If you've not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe now. Alright, let's consider the next law, which is the division power law. Division power law. The division power law states that when raising a quotient to a power, simply raise both the numerator and the denominator to that power. So if we have a all over b all raised to power m, a all over b is a quotient, and then it is raised to power m. How do we solve it? Division power law states that when raising a quotient to a power, simply raise both the numerator and the denominator to that power. So a all over b all raised to power m becomes a raised to power m all over b raised to power m. Now let's take another example. If we have 5 all over 3 all raised to power 2, how do we solve it? So if we apply the division power law, we would have 5 raised to power 2 all over 3 raised to power 2. 5 raised to power 2 is 25 all over 3 raised to power 2 is 9. So this is our answer. Alright, if you've not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe now. You can also leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget, check the description and you will see the link to other videos. Thank you for watching.